You keep saying what's next.
Yeah.
We are here until we end this menagerie of mandates and not laws. We are a country of... Please, let me finish. You spoke, I'm speaking. Thank you, Senators, for having us today. My name is Ron Coleman. I'm from Reno, Nevada. My daughter said to me before I left, Dad, you can't afford to do this. 2 years. And I looked at her and I said, I can't afford not to do this. This is a movement that the people have brought forth to say our God-given rights have been trampled on from our Constitution. Let Nancy Pelosi know that the power is in the people and we are coming. Amen.
Well, happy Thursday evening, everyone. I hope it's going well for everyone. And welcome to the live. So, let me try and mute my phone here so we can get started here. There we go. So, in any case, I wanted to do a stream tonight to go over a few things on my opinions. And thought tonight would be a good night, given that our real commander-in-chief isn't doing a rally tonight. And I just want to say that personally, I offer my condolences to the Trump family for the loss that they have had recently. And God give them strength. So, where are we at? The other day, we were watching just a beatdown on Tuesday in the state of Iowa when it comes to the Iowa caucus. And we saw that Trump took 98 out of 99 counties, and DeSantis didn't get anything out of anything. What we saw was some games, actually. We saw some games from Nikki Haley and her team. In my last stream, I had mentioned that I was saying that Nikki Haley, well, I'm seeing some buffering, I apologize for that, but that Nikki Haley is a Democrat vote. She is basically a Democrat. That's what I said in my last stream 10 days ago, and I stand by that. And she proved it to us in the Iowa caucus on Tuesday night, when the Democrat Party somehow had, in Jackson County, I believe it was, Democrats switching their party affiliation to Republican and going to caucus locations and voting for Nikki Haley. So Trump only lost that one county by one vote. But it proved that Nikki Haley is indeed a Democrat. She takes Democrats from their money to their positions, their policies. And that is somebody we cannot have in power. We're seeing destruction all over the country from Democrats. Look at the Democrat cities. We can't afford any more of this. Just like you can see behind me here, we have a distressed country. We need to make change in this country. We must stand together to make this change. You know, there's no perceivable path forward for any of the other Republican candidates, by the way. And they should all stand down and put their support behind President Trump. There's just no path. And that's what they should be doing. I just wanted to talk a little bit about Trump's pick for VP. And I'm watching this buffering, and I apologize. So trying to identify kind of in my mind where it might be occurring. But there's some interesting things that happened with Vivek Ramaswamy, that he dropped out on Tuesday evening and called and spoke to Trump. And then on Tuesday evening, or the other evening, night before last, was on the stage with Trump in New Hampshire. I do not trust Vivek Ramaswamy. And I do not support him as vice president. I just see way too much BlackRock, Vanguard, and Soros money backing him. Silver-tongued devil. So, just saying. So keep your eyes open there. But who would be a good VP candidate? There's been talk about Luna. There's been talk about Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace. And my personal opinion is they need to be where they are. We don't want them to come out of Congress. We need an outsider that has the guts to do what needs to be done to help fix this country. And if it's a woman, my first bet goes to Carrie Lake. My second goes to South Dakota. I always have a hard time, but Kristi Noem, I believe it is. Ben Carson, another choice, but I do have some reservations because Ben is a super nice guy. Mr. Carson is a super laid down kind of guy, and I just got to say that I don't know that that's what we want. We want somebody that's going to be up in your face. I would even go for a Tucker Carlson pick, to be honest with you. Stay away from the politicians. So that's pretty much the topic of Donald Trump. The other issue, and it's really our country's main issue. I mean, people would want to say, if I went down door to door, knocking on doors and say, what is your number one concern about what is going on in the country? And I'm willing to bet that it won't be economy this time, even though that's nasty. I'm willing to bet that it's the invasion at the southern border. And what are we going to do about it? Well, number one, we need to get the asshats that are in there out. Mayorkas needs to be removed immediately. He's a criminal. And, they were talking today, and questions came up from congressmen to their professor from congresswomen and congressmen. What is it? It's either Joe Biden's open border policies or it's Alejandro Mayorkas's dereliction of duty. Well, no matter what, someone is derelict. Policies are not U.S. policies. They are policies of an administration that is looking to destroy the United States of America and help create what I believe the United Nations of America and its birth. That's what they are looking to do. And there's absolutely no way that I can condone that. And by the way, if you like this video or you like these lives, please hit the subscribe button. Give it the thumbs up and turn on the notifications. And if you're over on the X platform, please share. Turn on your notifications and let's grow this channel. Our number one problem today is in fact the southern border. And as you can see from the chyron down below, today the House passed a continuing resolution, and this is the fourth time that this resolution has passed. This is Nancy anger every American. There's 107 Republican congressmen and congresswomen who showed us their true colors today. Had they showed no, if they would have been whipped up to say no, wow, we would have shot that CR down. And we would have immediately shut down the government, which is what we have to do. We have got the Ukraine, which is the biggest money laundering machine in the world. The biggest money laundering machine in the world is the Ukraine. We know for a fact that they're also doing bioweapons there. And we're funding it all. I'm willing to bet that at least 40 cents on every dollar that they get is going right back into our politicians' pockets. And every single bill that is going on out there is bringing money to the Ukraine. We need a standalone southern border bill. And don't be fooled. The Democrats say, well, you know, the Republicans won't take the bill that we're trying to do, and that would fix the border. No, it won't. All it does is give them more people to process the illegal aliens coming in. That's all that does. No. Close the damn border because it is an invasion. And the administration is guilty of not following the supreme law of the land, which is our Constitution, under Article 4, Section 4. And because it's an invasion, and because they're giving aid and comfort to the enemy, because we know that there are fighters coming in to our country, then anyone who assists them is complicit to the crime that needs to be judged under Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution. Look, the Remain in Mexico policy that President Trump put in place was working. We need Tom Homan back. And we need mass deportations. But, Texas stands up and says, nope, we're going to step in. We're not going to allow any feds into the park. They're coming in further down the road, and there is some question marks on whether or not those that are captured by the Texas National Guard are actually just turned over to DHS or CBP, and they're taken, processed, and the same exact thing happens. So we just, so I'm watching that. But nonetheless, it's a crisis at our southern border. It's an invasion. 10 million people have come in under Biden's watch. And to give you the comparison, when Trump took office in 2017, the estimated illegals in this country were at 11 million. And that was based from Ronald Reagan to Trump over many years, many presidents. So, congratulations, Biden. You've broken the record already to 4 previous presidents. But they say that it's secure. It's not secure. It's nowhere near being a secure border. We all see that. New York sees that. Chicago sees that. These sanctuary cities that no longer want to give sanctuary. It's blowing up in their faces, but it's also taking us down, with over 300 individuals a day dying from fentanyl. We have to stop this. We have to get involved. We can't wait another year. They've even just collected a convicted killer coming through the southern border. And we're not vetting half these people. We got 1.9 million gotaways. So this has to end. So like I said, give me a subscription. Give me a sub. Hit that subscribe button or follow. Give me a thumbs up. And help us out if you can. We pay for servers. We pay for broadcasting systems, and anything that you could help would be greatly appreciated. Want to talk about a couple of other things, and that is the sham things that the sham lawsuits, the law war or the lawfare that they're doing with President Trump. There's a couple of things that on this issue, on this topic. You've got 2 individuals in New York, between the DA and the Attorney General, that we see. Actually, you got 3 of them going on when you take on this Jean Kelly or Carroll, excuse me, bull. This woman is absolutely out there. She is. You do your research on E. Jean Carroll. This woman is nuts. And there's just no way. I mean, and the judges are sitting there giving her leeway that they would throw you and I in jail for. Destroying evidence. Should have been an immediate mistrial, but no. We want to pin this on Trump. We want to get this gal more money so we can say, well, look, he's convicted. But the conviction means nothing if it were fake. Fake convictions mean nothing. They're just using it to be able to plaster into the medias so they can put it into your Rachel Maddow shows and say, look, we have a conviction now. It's garbage. Just because a jury said that it was so, when the evidence should have never been that way, should have never gone to court. Okay. Not to mention that you have got Bragg and you've got James, Letitia James and Alvin Bragg, have connections to Washington, D.C. and the White House with this. How's that? How's that, you say? Letitia James actually met with members, lawyers from the White House. Interesting. Alvin Bragg has individual lawyers that are working for his office who came from the Biden administration's DOJ in Washington, D.C. And then you take a look at this Fannie Willis, or Fani Willis, however it pronounces. Her Fannie is in trouble. Okay. Fannie Willis is allegedly sleeping with her lead prosecutor on a RICO case in Georgia, who's already made more than $700,000 and has been to the White House 3 times and to the January 6th committee as well. Well, hopefully we'll see something come out of that, because today the judge ordered her into a hearing for February 15th to discuss these issues of improprieties and spending of taxpayer monies. So we'll see where that goes. Also, when you think about it, it's been no secret that I don't believe that the administration is a legitimate administration. And it's also no secret that I believe that there are questions about the seats in the House and the seats in the Senate after the 2020 election, making them legitimate. There were stolen seats that were more than just Trump. Yet you have a Supreme Court justice appointed by an illegitimate president and given their position as a justice by the United States Senate, confirmed, I should say. Ketanji Brown Jackson, and she now is facing ethics complaints. Her husband apparently does a lot of malpractice work, and there's a lot of money that has not been discussed or declared. So this is where I've said that we really have all 3 branches of government, which is under Article 1, 2, and 3 of the Constitution, is in crisis. So, that's a problem when we think about it. And then there's the World Economic Forum. The Davos annual meeting of the World Economic Forum is underway, where we have a bunch of unelected assholes, and even some of our elected ones are visiting over there. How about Mr. Kemp from Georgia, governor of Georgia? He's over there. Why are you over there in Davos, Mr. Kemp? So here they sit and they say, well, you're gonna go you're going to have nothing and you're gonna like it. You're gonna eat bugs and all this BS when it comes to climate crisis. And they're over there trying to make decisions for everyone in the world. They need to go away. We got this DEI, this diversity, equity, and inclusion garbage all over the place. We got airplanes that are having hatches come loose from a company that works on the DEI. And now we have got United Airlines posting that they are going to be more DEI for their hiring. That's interesting because Scott was seen at a party dressed in drag, Scott being the chairman of the board for United Airlines, in drag, dancing around, crawling on his hands and knees like a dog. And he's the chairman of United Airlines. So I would say that you may want to rip up your United frequent flyer card and go somewhere else. Because you may wind up with somebody behind that yoke flying that airplane that truly doesn't have the credentials to fly it. So you may want to think twice about getting on a United airline. Because their diversity hires are going to wind up getting us all killed. Let me just take a look. Take a minute. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. Please hit that subscribe, smash that like button, share it, turn on your notifications. That's a good point. Nikki actually has a Boeing connection as well. I reload my ammo. Yeah, just a couple of things. I got through the topics of what I wanted to talk about tonight, but there's just so much. There's just so much. There's a lot of in me that wants to go out and protest. But then I think, what moves the needle? When I was on the convoy, that was something I said a lot. What moves the needle? For every forward motion, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And if you put a lot of energy into something and you got no return, then you have a loss of energy. Yeah, you go with the idea that we're going to make people aware of what it is that's going on. But when the mainstream media is doing what they are doing, then exactly what is moving the needle? You're not waking anybody up. Shy of going door to door with binders full of the evidence that you can sit down and have a cup of coffee with each and every individual and saying, here's what's going on in this country. Wake the hell up. There's just no protest that we can do that's going to wake anyone up. You know, when I was on the walk, I had a lot of people saying, man, I'm right behind you. I love what you're doing, and I support you 100%. And I'm looking over my shoulder going, I don't see him behind me. So any protest needs to be able to move the needle. Now, what's going on with a lot of the streamers down at the southern border? I can get behind that. They may not be moving the needle, but you know what they are bringing out? They're bringing video evidence of what's going on the southern border that the mainstream media is attacking. That should be on every freaking news channel across the country. Every local station, every cable station, every single news network should have an expose on what's going on in the southern border and showing the droves of people coming in. They should have reporters lined up at the airports showing every single thing going on in these airports with these curtained off areas. But you don't see it. But you do see the streamers down there getting in their faces of these NGOs, you know, and bringing it out. So if nothing else, we can use that information and put it in the faces of those that we're trying to wake up. So, you know, I've been watching since I started this, and I know that there's an issue that I'm going to have to get into. I've been working on getting my streaming up and running correctly, and I've got something going on with a lag, and it's not the internet, and it's not the stream. It's something in my local system that I've got to hunt down and take a look at. I probably should have rebooted and started clean before I started the stream, but I think what I'll do is I'll do a couple of streams that are just short tests to see if we wind up with this little lagginess going on. So I do appreciate, and I do, I do encourage your patience in having my stream difficulties. And I hope that what I bring you is informative. I'm thinking that this is my way of protest right now. Being able to bring to you information. Yeah, any one of you can go out and get the information that I speak about. But I also want to give you my opinion about that information. It's like the Vivek Ramaswamy. Man, he's a smooth talker. I mean, he is easy to like. But is he a snake in the grass? His history tells a lot. Running a company that really had no successful vaccine output, taking a lot of donor money and then failing in output. And in a year before announcing a run for presidency, goes from the bottom of his stock to the highest stock, and we see large amounts of influx of money going into his company in that year before announcement from BlackRock and Vanguard and others. And then we see that he took out $32 million in his own stock. Now he only owns 7% of that company. Something's wrong. And I believe that Trump is doing a keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. And on a side note, Ron's opinion here, Grey Wolf's opinion, everybody's saying make him VP, VP pick, Ramaswamy VP. If the pressure was enough to where he chose Ramaswamy as VP, God forbid Trump slips on a banana peel. Ramaswamy becomes president. If you catch my drift. Read between the lines. Let's take a look here. Wow, I went through everything kind of quickly there. So let me read, let me look at some of the comments here. Well, Ghost, I would say that that's an interesting idea. It would not really be a position of power. But let's talk about that for just a moment. Okay? Making Ramaswamy press secretary. Let's take a look at the existing press secretary, shall we? As I call Mophead. She screwed up the other day. Okay? She did a tweet on her personal account that was meant for the Joe Biden account. Whoops. So now we know who's doing the actual tweeting for the resident. MTG is an asset in the House of Representatives. We do not want that position to be vacated, especially a Georgia position. A special election to replace MTG, or even a standard election, will wind up in placement, or should I say installment, like a toilet. She is where she needs to be. Okay. All right, I'm just checking some of the messaging. Yeah, absolutely need to talk to everybody and anybody you can talk to. Yeah. So Marjorie Taylor Greene needs to stay on the Hill. Luna needs to stay on the Hill. She's a freshman congresswoman, but still. Nancy Mace needs to stay on the Hill. These are all people, we need that kind of power. Hey, listen, these women have bigger balls than a lot of those rhinos up there. All right. And, you know, I mean, look what Nancy Mace said to Hunter. He said, "You got no balls." So This is the kind of power we need on the Hill. And we need to get rid of the rhinos that are sitting on their hands, shall we say? Well, there's a reason why they're sitting on their hands. Somebody's got something on them. I mean, let's be frank. For 240 odd years now, there have been ways and methods looked at on how to control our republic without allowing the people to control the republic, our country. What's the best way to do it? Best way to do it, especially when you've got an island that's outside of the international border, and you can wine and dine and bring in these heads, these people who are, even if they're not sick when they go in, they wind up getting sick. Wine them and dine them and take them to an island, and all of a sudden they take a bite of the forbidden fruit in more ways than one. And they're on camera doing it. And then if you have that information, even if you are a bureaucratic organization, could you not hold that over the others? Would you ever let it go? If you were that kind of a corrupt individual and you had pictures of a large majority, let's say, or a large portion, let me not say majority, let me say portion of the House of Representatives, the Senate, the judges, heads of state, other countries, wouldn't you use that to your benefit? If I were corrupt, that would be the most power that I could yield. Because they don't want to be outed. They don't want videos showing them doing very vile things coming out. Not at all. Well, our three-letter agencies have that. So let's ask a question, and let's see where this question goes. Is it the Biden administration that is making the DOJ and FBI do what they're doing? Or is it the DOJ and the FBI forcing their will on the administration and the House and the Senate? Think about it. Why haven't we seen any arrests from the Black Book? Ghislaine Maxwell, where is she? She's convicted, but there's not a single person that was in the facilitated crimes that have been arrested, indicted, or even spotlighted. But the woman who set it all up is behind bars. How is that possible? Well, we say that you broke the law, but we can't show anybody what law you broke and who was in on it. These are interesting questions that you should be asking. I believe you're right, Bonnie. I do believe you're correct. But it's not just those three-letter agencies that are in control. Look at Ghislaine Maxwell. Who was her father employed with? Follow that crumb trail. That trail of crumbs doesn't bring you back to the U.S. And Epstein, was he part of that? Or was he part of the U.S. agencies? And were they working together? You ask yourself this question. Who was receiving the information that was collected by Epstein and Maxwell? It's not all just U.S. Trust me. Yes, follow the money, but then it's not just the money, because there's no amount of money that can be put on somebody who has done something so severely wrong. You now own them. They will do whatever you ask. You take a look at the FTX debacle. Cryptocurrency shuttled through the Ukraine and then coming back and giving millions of dollars out of your kindness to support politicians in the House and the Senate. Sam Bankman-Fried had that one down, didn't he? And then, again, if you and I were doing that, we wouldn't be in prison. We would be under it. Okay? So those are things to look at. See, you know, Coda, you say Albert and Charles, but let me just bring up something. They would not fall into their own trap. No. It's just like J6. It was entrapment. And it's been for years. They entrapped these individuals, these judges, these senators, these congressmen. This is one of the reasons why we need to have a clear house. We need to look at Article 5 of the Constitution, and we need to pull out the Convention of States, and we need to put term limits on these people. Get them out of there. Because they're still there today, 30, 40 years in. And their buttons can be pushed for a long time coming. So yeah, you better believe it. Yep, I agree with you on that one, Coda. Yes. It was Andrew, Prince Andrew. But again, they're not going to fall into their own trap. And that island was nothing but a trap. And don't be fooled, that island's not the only island. There are other islands. Okay, we know that because of the Sound of Freedom. There are other islands, and in the Sound of Freedom is where I grabbed the example from. They had all those individuals go to that island thinking that it was legit for them, and it was an entire sting operation. So what's to say that Epstein Island wasn't the same thing on a larger scale and a longer duration? But instead of catching and entrapping those coming in immediately, they build up blackmail evidence and then they toss it in their face and say, you know, you really shouldn't vote this way. You need to vote that way. Well, I don't want to vote that way. I don't give a shit. You see this? You were there. We got you. We own you. Lock, stock, and barrel. So the only way that you're going to fix that is to completely wipe out the DOJ and the FBI and start from scratch. How do you do that? Well, you'd have to have somebody that comes in and federalizes state and local, takes over law enforcement in many of the states, and then you need to go after that evidence. You need to put it out and say, yep, we're going to clean house. We're going to do this. You involve the military and you start cleaning house. Whether that is going to be done, we can only guess. By the way, I don't know if anyone has detected it or not, but there's a 24-hour Discord link down here. That you can join the Wolf's Den. And in doing so, make sure that you be patient, because when you go into the den, you'll go into a general welcome room, and then the moderators will watch for your arrival. And upon your arrival and a little bit of vetting, you'll be granted access to the folders and channels within the room. You can carry on these discussions with other like-minded individuals that join into the Discord group. So let me see something here. And again, folks, bear with me tonight. I apologize. I'm almost complete. I know that I've got the choppy video. I will address it. I'll be doing a few more test streams probably tomorrow to see if I have found the problem as to why I've got this choppiness. This choppiness is not an internet problem. It is a local computer problem somewhere, and I need to go down and figure it out. Bear with me. I might have something in mind here. Let me try and close out some stuff. This could be it. Let's see if this helps. All right, let's watch. Nope, we're still choppy. I'm just closing out a bunch of things that I've got open on the computer to see if that helps us. Kind of turn this into a testing facility here. I'm still lagging locally. So I'll work on that probably tomorrow. I'm going to bring up my activity monitor real quick and take a peek at the CPU usage. It's actually showing normal. System's only using, I've got 67% idle processes. So I'm going to have to do a bit of troubleshooting on that before I have my next stream. Okay. Hey, J Cost. Yeah, and Coda, it shouldn't be audio video usage. This is the same platform I've used all along. The problem is I upgraded a bunch of the stuff because I was forced to in the operating system because a lot of the tools I used were upgraded. And when they became more resource intensive. So a week ago, as I was building up, everything seemed to be working fine. And now tonight I've got this. So it's something that I've just got to dig into and see if I can't find it. No, Ghost, it's not an internet issue. It is, I'm seeing it on my local before I go out to the internet. If it was the internet, my local wouldn't be buffering. It would just be the internet. So it is a local problem. I don't have tabs. I have a Mac Pro. It's cut out to do this work. I mean, it's a hot rod. I shouldn't be having this issue. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a Mac Pro using OBS. Now, the only time that I've seen this in the past is when I was using RTMP out of OBS. But this is using direct. I do have an RTMP streaming address in OBS. Maybe I'll go and delete that. Maybe there's some kind of a conflict thinking that I'm trying to do both. I'll have to just dig into it and find it. I do agree on that, Cody. It's some kind of conflict going on. But what's interesting is when I'm looking at my CPU utilization, it's showing that I still have 67% left. So I've got overhead like crazy. Plus, I have a GPU on it. So yeah, I've got two water cooled systems on the GPU, plus a water cooled CPU cooler. Like I said, it's a hot rod. So and it's designed to do video processing, but it's getting now that's a camera issue right there. Okay, the fuzziness, that could be my camera. This might be a camera problem. I'll switch the camera on my next stream and I'll put the 1080p camera. This is a 4K cam. So for the next stream, I'll switch up, put a 1080p on here and see if I still get it. Because my streaming before, I was using the 1080p camera and I didn't have this problem. So it very well could be the camera. They're USB cameras, 3.0. So I should be getting 5K throughput. All right. Don't mean to bore you folks. I appreciate every one of you. And I'll go ahead and close that out. Make sure that you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button, smash it. Make sure you turn on your notifications. And if you're over on X, I don't see anybody over on X at the moment. I do see some comments that came through there. I don't know if there's anybody that's been over on Facebook or not, but I am broadcasting out on Facebook tonight. On Node to Tyranny. That'll be something that needs to be tested too. If somebody does get over there and make a comment on Facebook, on the live over on Facebook. By the way, just so you all know, I restored a 1970 Camaro. All right. And I should say I built a 1970 Camaro. I'm going to flip over there so y'all can see it. I'm just going to take this time to let you know I am selling it. And it is heart-wrenching for me to do so. But this is my Camaro. And I have it up on Facebook Marketplace at the moment. It has been sitting in the garage for 10 years. And it just rained. I just pulled it out. That's where you can see the chain on the front. I had just pulled it out of the garage. It was all covered up. And it had just rained, so we had water everywhere. Kind of helped blow, take some dust off of it. So if you know of anybody that may be interested, this is a 1970 Camaro. And it's got a lot of horsies. Okay. There's the dyno sheet. 387 horsepower at the rear wheels on this dyno. Out of a small block. So, if you know anybody that's interested, it's currently up on Facebook Marketplace for the Reno area if you just put in 1970 Chevy Camaro. Okay. So I'll just take a moment. Just wanted to take a moment to say that's my baby, but hard times mean hard decisions. So with that, I want to tell everybody I love all of you. I really want y'all to keep your head on a swivel. Watch out for stuff happening. Let's get together what we need to survive and dredge forward. So until next time, which will probably be tomorrow under a test, God bless you, and God bless the United States.
You